to Carson Tate's video log. I'm here in upstate New York with David Swatling, new BSB author.
That's right. My book comes out in September.
It's September, and it is called
Calvin's Head.
Excellent. So head makes me think of like head on a platter, head be off with their heads.
Yeah. Well, it came from a real event. I was living in my Jeep in Amsterdam with my dog.
Okay, stop. There's the story. Really?
Yeah. And we were walking around the park one day, and there was a big crowd around a pond, much like the pond over right across here.
Yes.
And I asked someone what's going on, because there were police and everything, and they said someone's dog pulled a garbage bag out of the pond.
Oh no.
And it had a severed head in it.
Seriously?
Seriously.
Not your dog.
That's what I thought at the time. Thank God Calvin did not
wash your mouth out.
No, so, but I began, the old writer's thing, before I'd taken a writing class. What if it had been my dog? What if I recognized the victim and moved into their house because I didn't have a place to live? And that began the thinking about the story.
But you didn't really do all that, right? Or don't admit.
No, I'm not going to admit.
I'd like to advise you of your rights.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, that's fascinating. So, is it set in Amsterdam, or
it's set in Amsterdam? Yeah, it's I guess you'd call it suspense, or I call it psychological thriller, because we'll meet the killer right at the beginning, like in Patricia Highsmith.
Yeah, I was just thinking, talented Mr. Ripley.
And then clearly, the protagonist and the villain are going to run into each other, but when they do, that's when things get a little strange.
Yes. Okay, that's fascinating. Yeah. So what? This is your first book.
That's right.
Okay. Have you written before?
Well, I have past lives in theater and radio.
Okay.
So I've written in different forms before.
Exactly.
But it's all storytelling.
Yes, absolutely. Just a different kind.
Yeah.
So what was the biggest challenge about writing the book?
Sitting down and doing it.
Yeah.
Because I had the idea, and I wrote a couple chapters. I was in a writing group, and they were very supportive and encouraging, and then something happened in my head between the characters that I went, I can't write that, and I threw it in a drawer for 13 years.
13 years.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. But then once I was finished doing radio, early retirement, I had time, and I thought, well, I'm a little older. I quite frankly don't care that those characters did that. Let's find out why.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah. So and then once I sat down, I used NaNoWriMo to write a first draft, and in 30 days I had 50,000 words.
Was that this past November?
No, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Yeah. And that was just a first draft. I realized when I looked at it that a whole chunk was missing.
Right.
So
for those who don't know, NaNoWriMo is National Novel Writing Month. It occurs every November. You're supposed to write 50,000 words during the month. And I find it's like a really great vehicle to just get words on paper.
Exactly. I'm used to deadlines. In theater, radio, I had monthly, weekly, daily deadlines. So actually having this kind of structure worked for me.
Absolutely. It works for me too. I've only gotten the 50,000 words once, but I have gotten major chunks of work done in that month. But
no, I haven't used it since, and now, but I kind of plan on doing that for myself. It's like, okay, we finish on the 3rd, from the 5th when I get back to New Hampshire until the 5th of September when I get to New York. That's going to be my NaNoWriMo.
Excellent. All right. Well, we'll hold you to it. So what are you working on now?
Well, that's the next one, which is actually going to involve Decker and his dog Calvin again, but in a different location and a different genre and a completely different kind of story.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, we'll look forward to that. And then, so September is the release date?
September is the release for Calvin's Head.
Calvin's Head. David Swatling, Calvin's Head. Look for it. It sounds very interesting. I can't wait to read it.
Thanks, Carson.
Okay, this is Carson Tate's video log, signing out.